and good evening. We're today when Pakistan is in the grip of ethnicity, regionalism, theocratic forces, fundamentalism, and corruption. It is more important to recall the vision of the founder of the nation, that is Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He wanted Pakistan to be a welfare state where there was justice, equality, and fair play. Quaid dreamed of modern, progressive welfare state, but we see today that Pakistan remained under the grip of few feudal elites since its birth. Nevertheless, Pakistan made progress, but the fruit of progress was enjoyed by few men of business elite class. Pakistan, after 66 years, is still underdeveloped country where poverty is increasing. In this situation, it is important to consult the views of Quaid and to guide our planners to follow his advice to make this country a true Islamic welfare state in the light of the teachings of Islam and as per Quaid's vision. Today we would like to talk on different aspects of Quaid-e-Azam's vision of Pakistan and the current situation of Pakistan. Do we follow, are we seeing the following the vision of Quaid that was given to us? Are we following the footsteps of our leader, our founding father, that he left for us in all the aspects, in political, economical, in social, in ethical? Are we going in that direction or not after 66 years? That's what we will be talking about today. Assalamu alaikum, Zaid Hamid Saab. As you know, we will be talking about the vision of Quaid-e-Azam, our founding father, today about Pakistan. We would like to see that the vision that was left by our leader Quaid-e-Azam, how much have we followed into his footsteps, and what have we gained so far and what have we lost so far. But before we start our discussion, we have put together an update, a research, the vision of our Quaid about Pakistan. We would like to have a look at that. In fact, we would like to listen to him directly telling us that what kind of vision was of Quaid-e-Azam about Pakistan and how Allama Iqbal, he sees that vision of Quaid-e-Azam about Pakistan. Let's have a look at that and then we will continue our discussion.
We have achieved our cherished goal of freedom and has established Pakistan as an independent sovereign state, fifth largest in the world. The systematic massacre of defenseless and innocent people puts to shame even the most daring atrocities committed by the worst tyrants known to history. We thank Providence for giving us courage and faith to fight these forces of evil. If we take our inspiration and guidance from the Holy Quran, the final victory, I once again say, will be ours. Do not be overwhelmed by the enormity of the task. There is many an example in history, young nations building themselves up by pure determination and force of character. You are made of sterling material and are second to none. Why should you also not succeed like many others, like our own forefathers? You are a nation whose history is replete with people of wonderful grace, character, and heroism. Live up to your tradition and add to another chapter of glory. All I require of you now is that every one of us whom this message reaches must bow to himself and be prepared to sacrifice his all if necessary. Building up Pakistan as a bulwark of Islam and as one of the biggest nations whose ideal is peace within and peace without. member of this state, particularly our youth, show the right spirit of devotion, courage, and fortitude, gively to others, and to set a nobler and higher example for those who may follow us and be coming the other way. Remember that scrupulous vigilance on enforcement of law and order are the prerequisites of all progress. Tenet of Islam joins every Muslim in protection to its neighbors and to the minority, not as the strong and weak. Despite nothing which is being meted out to Muslim minorities in India, we must leave another of our prestige and honor. May God rise to the minority.
Yes, Mr. Zaid Hamid, as you heard his own voice, the vision that he wanted for Pakistan. A very special reason to do this show today that I felt like doing it is we see a lot of questioning coming up about that Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah wanted a secular Pakistan. There are a lot of questioning going on this, that our leader Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah wanted a secular Pakistan. I would like to know from you that what kind of Pakistan our founding father Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah wanted for the people of Pakistan.
What a tiger he was. You just heard his speech, and even now it gives you goosebumps. In the last 200 years, Muslim world has never seen a greater leader than him. And after his death, the whole Muslim world is almost like orphans, still waiting for a leader of his caliber and character and vision. What a man he was. He had the courage, the charisma, the vision, the knowledge, and the romanticism inbuilt into his character and soul to dream the impossible. He defeated the British Empire. He defeated the dominant Hindu Zionists and created country literally from the jaws of the alligators. Those two forces, the British imperial power and the Hindu Zionists, were crashing down upon him, and single-handedly he created a land which people thought was creation of it was impossible. And not just that he created the land, he gave a vision for it too. And you just heard his speech, and I would pick out two very key words from it. One of them that he said, if we take the guidance from the Holy Quran, which makes it very clear that he is not creating a secular state. He is creating a state which would be based on the spiritual foundations of our faith. And the second word that he used was to make Pakistan as a bulwark of Islam. He wanted to create a fortress of Islam. He wanted to create the last frontier where the Muslim world is going to reorganize itself, regroup, and then starts to recapture its lost glory. This is exactly what he said in this speech, that you are going to surpass what your forefathers achieved, the glory that your forefathers had achieved. And he had this romantic pan-Islamic vision.
Then, Mr. Zaid Hamid, why are we seeing these questioning on his vision of Pakistan, that he wanted a secular? When you mentioned, and we all heard ourselves, that he mentioned very clearly about Islam and the Holy Quran to be following, then why are we seeing these conspiracy that, Quaid-e-Azam wanted a secular state?
You see, the point is that you also hear the term that India is a secular state.
And then you say that why can't we be?
Why can't Pakistan become a secular state?
Right.
And this is, Quaid-e-Azam was such a visionary. He was such a leader that he knew exactly that these conspiracies would be hashed even before the creation of Pakistan and after the creation of it as well. He lasted for almost 14 months after the creation of Pakistan, and Pakistan was orphaned after his death. But let me quote from one of his speeches, that when people think that India is a secular state, that's not true. Pakistan was created on the basis of a two-nation theory, a profound fact which states United India. It's not possible within the United India that Muslims and Hindus can live together because of the antagonism, because of the hatred both the communities have for each other, and because of the narrow-mindedness, because of the attitude of the majority dominant Hindu Zionists. And let me quote Quaid-e-Azam here again for you, and he clearly, very categorically says, I'm quoting his words from an interview which he gave to Duncan Hooper, a Reuters correspondent, on 25th October 1947. So after the creation of Pakistan, Duncan Hooper came to Quaid-e-Azam, took a very profound, long interview, and all the visions, aspirations, all the objectives, whatever Pakistan he wanted to create, he gave a very profound description of its foreign policy, of its relationship with India. And in that interview, he very clearly says that he says that dominion of India is a Hindu state. He makes it very clear, it's not a secular state, it's a Hindu state, and it was created in the name of two-nation theory. Let me read it out again. They say, what will happen is, when Pakistan would be created, all the conspiracy will be hatched to dismember Pakistan, to make Pakistan join the Indian Federation again, so that Pakistan's existence can be seized. And he says it will be done, and the two conspiracy steps would be taken. And one of them, he says, we must try to stop any effort or attempt which is intended to bring about a forced union of the two dominions. Because Pakistan is created and people would try so that Pakistan could join back into India. That's what the Indian says, remove the boundaries, we are one people, remove the visa restrictions, we are one people, one nature, one history, so let's join back again. Creation of Pakistan was a mistake, and Hindus still till this day do not accept Pakistan as an independent state. And in 1971 they dismembered East Pakistan also because of the same doctrine, because they do not accept Pakistan as an independent state. And Quaid-e-Azam at that time knew that, and he said, we must try to stop any effort or attempt which is intended to bring about a forced union of the two dominions. The methods advocated for the achievement of this end are, like the Indians would do, bring about a revolt by Muslims against Muslim League and the Pakistan government. First, Indians would try to bring out a revolt, that making a Pakistan was a mistake, like they did in East Pakistan. This is exactly what happened in 71 after 25 years of creation of Pakistan, but Quaid-e-Azam had warned us in 1947. And then he said, what the second step would be, failing that, making the leaders of Pakistan realize the folly of the two-nation theory and change their ways to force them once again to agree to join the union and thereby create a single India by war. This is precisely the reason destroying the two-nation theory is the most fundamental pillar of any attack that is made on Pakistan.
So this can be another threat, another way of the fourth generation war that we have already been talking about.
This is precisely what is happening.
This is another ideological confusion that has been injected, that the vision of Quaid was
when
Indira Gandhi, Pakistan.
When the Congress party, Indira Gandhi in 1971 was able to dismember East Pakistan by achieving a revolt against the government of Pakistan, which Quaid had warned would happen in 47, Indira Gandhi said that today we have destroyed the two-nation theory and we have drowned it in the Bay of Bengal. Exactly the same words that Quaid used, and they said, and they would do that by an act of war, which they waged in 71. So this is what we are saying.
Mr. Zaid Hamid, we would continue our discussion right from here. Stay with us. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back, viewers. We're talking today about the vision of our founding father, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, for Pakistan, the vision that's been given to us by him. We would like to know that did Quaid-e-Azam dream of a progressive and modern Pakistan, or did he desire a regressive and theocratic and fundamental state? What was the Pakistan's vision to him? What did he mean by presenting a state for Muslims? What kind of political and economic vision vision did he have in his mind for Pakistan, and what do we have right now practically implemented in our state? Mr. Zaid Hamid, before going on the break, we were talking about what kind of vision our founding father Quaid-e-Azam would have for us, and before we get back to our discussion, we would like to see that what economic vision did he have. His last speech in 1948 when he was inaugurating the State Bank of Pakistan, what did he say in that speech on that 1948 in the inauguration of State Bank of Pakistan, and what did he leave as an economic structure for us? Let's listen to that and then we will start our discussion.
The global rise in the cost of living has hit the poorer sections of the society, including those with fixed income, very hard indeed. And it is responsible to a great extent for the prevailing unrest in the country. The policy of the Pakistan government is to stabilize prices at a level that would be fair to the producer as well as the consumer. I hope your efforts will be directed in the same direction in order to tackle this root problem with success. I shall watch with keen interest, having witnessed the work of your research organization involving banking practices compatible with Islamic ideals of social and economic life. The system, nonetheless, has been our most insoluble problem for the humanity. To many of us, it appears not only that more compensated on suffering that is now facing the world. It is failed through justice between man and man, and in any case stricter in the national need. On the contrary, it was largely responsible for the two world wars in the last half century. The Western world, in spite of its advantages of mechanization and industrial efficiency, is still in a worse state than ever before. With the adaptation of Western economic theory, and that it will not help us in achieving our goal of creating a happy home community. We must work on our destiny in our own way and present to the world an economic system based on true Islamic concepts of equality of manhood and social justice. We will therefore fulfill our mission of Islam and giving to humanity one of the which alone has saved and secured the welfare, happiness, and prosperity of mankind.
Yes, Mr. Zaid Hamid, as you listen to the speech of Quaid-e-Azam, the last speech, and then he deceased in the inauguration of the State Bank, he warned us 65 years ago about the Western economical system, which we are seeing in the name of IMF these days, and we are in the grip of IMF. So what do you say that what was suggested by Quaid-e-Azam?
You see, it's again one of the most profound speeches that he's made. And the important point of this is that here in this speech he was addressing the humanity, not just the Muslims of Pakistan. And he made it very clear that the Western economic system based on banks, paper currency, fractional reserve banking, fiat currency, false credit growth, this economic system has brought the humanity to a disaster where only a miracle perhaps could save humanity. It has brought wars, two great wars, First World War and Second World War have come because of this economic system. And now if we are able to create an economic model based on the principles of Islam, we would be doing justice to the entire humanity. And this is an amazing concept that he is giving just before his death, his last speech, that makes it very, very clear that he knows very well that Western economic system, which you see, which is dominating the world today, the economic collapse in America, the economic collapse in the European Union, the economic collapse globally, which is happening, which is controlled by few blood-sucking bankers, whether it's Federal Reserve or the Bank of England or the Bank of International Settlements or the IMF or the World Bank or the Asian Development Bank. These bankers control the destiny of humanity, and all you see in the world today is death, destruction, famine and disaster. And this is what he warned us after the Second World War. World War finished in 45. He's making this speech in 48 and saying, now humanity cannot be saved unless we revert back to the golden principles of Islamic finance. And this is precisely, again, as we said, when he said he was a pan-Islamic visionary and a leader of humanity. His vision was definitely not secular. His vision was definitely not Western. Here I would like to clarify.
Also, before you can answer me this question as well, that Quaid-e-Azam also said that Pakistan is not a theocratic state.
Correct.
So what does exactly this state of theocratic means? What did he mean by that?
Exactly. You see, let me explain it, because that's where the actual confusion exists. From the Western point of view, the theocratic state can have two meanings. The modern prevalent concept is the theocratic state is which is run by mullahs, by clergy, like Pope ruling England, like Pope ruling the Christian countries. That kind of theocracy or theocratic state does not exist in Islam at all. But the second concept is that a state which is built on the spiritual foundations of Quran and Sunnah and the Islamic faith is not a theocratic state, because theocracy, clergy as a class, does not exist in Islam. So expecting that mullahs or religious scholars or the traditional, like Pope or like cardinals or like fathers, are going to rule a Muslim country or Pakistan, that would never happen. But in Islam,
like extremism should not rule a country.
See, the question is, this speech where he said Pakistan will not be a theocratic state, he made this speech to the Western audience, and he made it very clear to them that Pakistan would be ruled by modern Muslims, not westernized Muslims. You see, that's where the confusion is. People think that being modern also means being westernized, and he's making it very clear that we have our own values, we have our own faith, we have our own economic political model, we take our guidance from Quran, we want to make Pakistan as a bulwark of Islam. He used the term premier Islamic state for Pakistan when he was addressing the American people, but he also made it very clear that this state would be ruled according to the divine principles, not by the clergy, but by the modern Muslims, who are, but in all sense of the word, are the most developed, scientifically advanced, highly tolerant, are the most innovative, as the civilizations that we have created in the past, Andalusia, for 800 years you've heard the name of Alhambra, Granada, all the Spain that you see today was built by Muslims for 800 years. Every science and technology that you see today in the world has originated from the Muslim research of the golden period when the Muslims ruled in Baghdad, Andalusia and Damascus. The Taj Mahal that you see, the Mughals have created, the tolerance that the Mughals had in India. If the Muslims have ruled India for 1,000 years, but we never used sword. If we did, there would not be a single Hindu in India left. So this is what the point is. The Islamic principles of tolerance, love, equality, benevolence, mercy, these are the principles which are enshrined in Quran and our Sunnah, and implementing them, our economic, political, judicial model, does not make Pakistan a theocratic state. This is precisely what he meant. At the same time emphasizing that Pakistan's economic, political and judicial model would be based on Quran, and Pakistan would not be a secular state.
And then we would also like to know, Mr. Zaid Hamid, that what are the reasons of Pakistan being deviated from the vision of Quaid-e-Azam? What has happened in these last 66 years? Why have we gone so far away from his vision?
This is the unfortunate part, because Quaid-e-Azam died and the last of his comrades, a couple of comrades that he had left, Allama Shabir Mir Ahmad Usmani, Liaquat Ali Khan and Sardar Abdur Rab Nishtar, all these three people grouped together and they did one desperate attempt to organize the political direction of Pakistan by passing the Objective Resolution in 1949, 1 year after his death. An Objective Resolution clearly defined Pakistan as an Islamic welfare state based on Quran and Sunnah, and said that no law in the country would be created, implemented or deployed which is violative of our spiritual values. And Objective Resolution today is part of Pakistan's constitution. But the people who came after that, they never took Quaid-e-Azam or Allama Iqbal or our founding fathers seriously. And till date, we are lost as a nation. Our two-nation theory was attacked, was violated, brutally violated. The fact that Pakistan was created in the name of Islam gave way to provincialism, regionalism, ethnicity, sectarianism, and the political leadership that came was so mediocre, so lost in itself that they had no clue of what ideological vision Quaid-e-Azam and the poet-philosopher Allama Iqbal gave for this nation. And this is precisely the reason that the Western countries, when they look towards Pakistan, they insist on making Pakistan a secular state, the secular Anglo-Saxon judicial system, the secular Western democracy, the secular political economic models. And this experiment is not working in Pakistan for the last 65 years, precisely for the same reason that the Western transplanted economic, political, judicial models are in conflict with the spiritual ethos on which this country was created. As a result, you have Muslims demanding the Islamic law. You go and ask the Pakistanis, majority of them would say they want to live under the Sharia law and the Islamic laws and the Quranic laws, but the rules that are being implemented by the powerful feudal elites who have vested interest, the blood-sucking leeches who are actually exploiting the country and the nation and the people, who are not letting go of the control. As a result, you have this conflict and anarchy in the leadership and in the aspiration and ethos of the nation, and the conflict between what is happening today and what our founding fathers wanted.
I would like to have your answer after the break that, like you said, that Quaid-e-Azam had the vision of Pakistan being created in the name of Islam. At the same time, he did not want Pakistan to be a theocratic or a fundamentalistic state. Then the question comes here is that why don't Pakistan recognizes Israel then? But I would like you to answer this question after we come back from a break. Viewers, stay with us. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back, viewers. We're talking today on the vision of our founding father Quaid-e-Azam for Pakistan. We would like to know that Quaid-e-Azam was inspired by the Quran or the Prophet Muhammad's teachings in the struggle of Pakistan. We would like to know that why it is important to preserve and keep in front at all times whatever's been said and wrote by our founding father. We would like to know that why everybody's preaching unity, faith and discipline but acting totally opposite to it. Mr. Zaid Hamid, before going on a break, like I asked you a question that Quaid-e-Azam had a vision to have Pakistan in the name of Islam, but at the same time he did not want Pakistan to be a fundamentalistic state or a theocratic state. Then why don't Pakistan recognizes Israel? What's the issue there?
You see, there are three ideological states in the world today. India was created in the name of Hindus. It's an Hindu state, as Quaid-e-Azam himself has said. Pakistan was created in the name of Islam, and Israel was transplanted in the name of Judaism by Jewish Zionists. And at that time also, Quaid-e-Azam called the creation of Israel an outrage. He said it's a dagger in the heart of the Muslims which we'll never accept. Let me quote here again from the same interview which he gave to Duncan Hooper of the Reuters. When asked why doesn't Pakistan, with the partition plan, the partitioning of Palestine into the Israeli state and some lands to the Palestine, what do you think about this? And Quaid-e-Azam, what he replied, let me read it out. I do still hope that the partition plan will be rejected. Otherwise, there is bound to be grievous disaster and unprecedented conflict, not only between the Arabs and the authority that would undertake to enforce the partition plan, but the entire Muslim world will revolt against such a decision, which cannot be supported historically, politically, or morally. In such a case, Pakistan will have no other course left but to give the fullest support to the Arabs, and will do whatever lies in its power to prevent what, in my opinion, is an outrage. Now, this is the very, very firm, strongest possible rejection of the creation of Israel by Pakistani founding father at that time. And that is why you see that when Pakistan was created, David Ben-Gurion, the founding father of Israel, actually warned his nation and said, we are not afraid of Arabs, but we should be very careful of the threats posed by Pakistan. And history has proven this, that in 1967 war, in 1974 war, and all the time when Israel was a threat to the Arab lands, Pakistani armed forces were there to defend and protect the Arab lands against the outrage of Israel. And that is why the hatred for Israel as a transplanted outrage in the heart of the Muslims, a dagger into the heart of the Muslim, is such in the Pakistan that no leader, despite their utmost efforts, Musharraf tried very hard to recognize Israel, but he was rejected by the nation, by the armed forces, by the people, by the youth. Pakistan can never accept Israel, nor Israel can accept Pakistan. And Israelis and Indians always, they make natural allies against Pakistan. Both of them have tried so hard to destroy Pakistan, the dismemberment of Pakistan. They always find the nexus between Mossad and RAW in attacking Pakistan's nuclear program. The multiple attempts have been made. The way they destroyed the Iraqi, Syrian and the Libyan nuclear program, they tried to destroy Pakistan's nuclear program. So there's a constant state of conflict and war between Pakistan on one side and Indians and Israelis on another. And this war will only end till the annihilation of an enemy. There cannot be any coexistence in peace.
Then, Mr. Zaid Hamid, what's the stance of Pakistan on Palestinian issue?
See, it's the same which Quaid-e-Azam left us with. Pakistan strongly supports Palestine cause. Pakistan rejects the state of Israel. Pakistan is still one of those countries, despite the fact that many Arab countries have recognized Israel, Pakistan does not recognize Israel as a state. There is no Israeli embassy in Islamabad. And Israel remains at war against Pakistan, using every means possible to destroy and subvert and sabotage the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. So this is the state. And this is the reason, you see, that today you see all Pakistan is surrounded today after 1971, when East Pakistan was dismembered, when half of us was gone. Today the remaining Pakistan is surrounded from all sides, and you find very strong footprint of Indians and Israelis and CIA joining hands, a very sinister nexus, a nexus of evil in which they are collaborating to instigate insurgencies, rebellions and implosion of the state of Pakistan. Because as we said, Pakistan stands in the way of both Indian expansion and Israeli aggression. Only once Pakistan is neutralized and is only Islamic nuclear state that we have, only then Indians would be able to expand and Israelis would be able to expand in the Middle East. So right now, in the past, Pakistan has been the balancing factor in Asia as well as in the greater Middle East. But now when Pakistan itself is under a fourth generation war, fighting a war of its own survival, you see that all Muslim lands are being annihilated one after another because Pakistan is not there to defend them and protect them. Syria is gone, Egypt is almost going, Libya gone, Iraq gone. But in the past, it was always the Pakistani armed forces deployed in those regions which were acting as a counterbalance to Israeli aggression.
Mr. Zaid Hamid, we would like to hear the social vision of Quaid-e-Azam as well. And we have a clip from his speech in his own voice. Let's have a look at that, and then we would like to talk on this social aspect of Pakistan as well.
What we want is not to talk about Bengali, Punjabi, Sindhi. Yes, they are units, they are provinces, put on. Yes. But I ask you, have you forgotten the lesson that Islam taught us 13 centuries ago? And I think you will agree with me that whatever else you may be or wherever you are, you're a Muslim. That you have now carved out a territory, vast territory. It is all yours. It doesn't belong to a Punjabi or a Bengali or a Sindhi. It's yours. You've got your central government where every unit and every province is represented. Therefore, if you want to build up yourself into a nation and get rid of this poison. God's sake, give up this provincialism. You are only voicing my sentiments and the sentiments of millions of Muslims when you say that Pakistan should be based on pure foundations of social justice and Islamic socialism, not otherism. Brotherhood, equality, fraternity of man, these are all the basic points of our religion, culture, and civilization. And we fought for Pakistan because there was danger of denial of these human rights in this continent. After all, the story of Pakistan and its struggle and its achievement is a very story of great human ideals struggling to survive in the face of odds and difficulties. Let us now plan to build and reconstruct and regenerate our great nation. Now is the time, chance and opportunity for every Muslim to make his or her fullest and best contribution and make the greatest sacrifice and work ceaselessly and selflessly in the service of our nation and make Pakistan one of the greatest nations of the world. Pakistan is now big complex and it can never be undone.
Yes, Mr. Zaid Hamid, as you heard his speech, his words are so strong. And he's telling you that for God's sake, give up this provincialism. And he promoted only Islamic socialism, no other socialism. And now today when we look around, we are into all kinds of provincialism, not only provincialism, but sectarianism is another factor, another threat in our society. What do you have to say on all this?
How we miss him today, by God. What a leader he was, and what a vision he gave. Made it so clear that Pakistan would only be for Islamic socialism. And socialism, again, the term that he used to make the liberal seculars understand, because they understood socialism in terms of equality of man and fraternity and liberty. And he made it very clear that there will be no otherism in Pakistan. No secularism, no capitalism, no communism, no Marxism, except Islamic socialism. And then still they accuse him of being a secular man. What rubbish, what nonsense, what baloney. The fact of the matter is that he was the greatest leader born after Tipu Sultan in the entire Muslim world. And still the entire Muslim world fails to produce somebody of his stature. And his vision, his ideals that he has given for Pakistan, we are in a mess today because we lost them. We lost him. And if Pakistan has to survive in the 21st century as the greatest nation on earth, which he wanted to make, based on our spiritual and moral foundations of our faith, we'll have no choice but to revert back to the values that he gave us. And we are based on the foundation of Quran and Sunnah. It's enough that even the Westerners, the liberals and seculars must understand that any attempt to force Pakistan into being a secular state would not work, but will resist it with full force, even violence. And if they want to coexist with Pakistan, they'll have to accept our Islamic character, credentials and ideals for which we sacrificed millions and millions of people in creation of this land. And we are not going to betray our martyrs, our sacrifices, our founding fathers.
And then, Mr. Zaid Hamid, as you heard him saying that no other, any other kind of Islamic, Islamic socialism, he also promoted Islamic socialism. But what we are seeing today is kind of sectarianism, the recent and the provincialism, and the recent incidents happening between Al-Sunnah wal Jamaat and the Muslimin. So all this sectarianism and provincialism, we are going against what we were told. How do we stop this? How do we bring back the nation on track? on the track that was given by Qaeda.
That is why we have been punished also. 100,000 Pakistanis have died in the last 6 years only. In infighting, in civil war, in urban decentralized war. We are being attacked by enemies from all sides. The state don't even exist. Our judicial system is collapsing, our economic system is collapsing, our political model is completely failed and dysfunctional, is not delivering, and armed forces are surrounded and fighting last-ditch battle trying to save the country. The fact of the matter is that our leadership has collapsed entirely. It's not a matter of rules and regulations and constitution. The fact of the matter is we have no leaders. The People's Party leaders and the leaders, they're a bunch of criminal gangsters. The president was called Mr. 10%. What are the rest of them? The present leadership, they don't even know the names of the books written by Allama Iqbal, let alone following his ideology, or they don't even, none of them has ever even read speeches of Qaeda. The speeches that you just heard. Most of the Pakistani leadership, in fact all of them, have not even heard them, let alone able to apply them on the nation. So this is the tragedy. That our leadership is so mediocre. We are trying to find the tallest pygmy and trying to make him into a leader. All we have are pygmies. And the tallest pygmy is actually in this crowd that we have created now. It was once a nation. There was a time when we had no country, but we were a nation. Now we have a country, but we as a nation we are disintegrating into ethnic and political divides. And this is the unfortunate. We have no choice now. If Pakistan has to survive, it's not just the physical defense or building up the economy, or building up railways, or Pakistan International Airlines, or the economic or political system. Ideology has to be revived and protected as jealously as we defend the geographic frontiers also.
In all those factors, the security of ideology is also...
Because if you lose the ideology, then you disintegrate it to provincialism and sectarianism and all the isms that you have to liberalism, secularism and Marxism and communism and democracy. The fact of the matter is that the thing which kept us together was not our language, was not our ethnicity, was not our sectarianism, was our faith, our Islam, our ideology, two-nation theory for which Islam was created.
Mr. Zaid Hamid, last question. Did our leader, Qaeda-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, let me ask you this, is he getting the deserving respect or the deserving attention that today's generation needs to give him?
This is the most unfortunate part, that the nation doesn't know him. For 65 years, people have been accusing him, putting blasphemous lies against him, that he was a secular man wanting to create a secular Pakistan. And the nation didn't know that he was a pan-Islamist, idealist, romantic leader who wanted to create Pakistan as a bulwark of Islam and wanted to create a premier Islamic state and wanted to take the guidance from Holy Quran and Sunnah. And he wanted to surpass the glory that our previous generations had achieved, and he wanted to make Pakistan as the greatest nation on this earth. So these lies have been spread for 65 years because the Pakistan after his death was taken over by the liberals and the seculars who were in any case were against the ideology and the concept of Pakistan. But now the time has come that we reclaim Pakistan, reclaim our founding father, and then rebuild Pakistan on the ideology that he gave us. Without that, any response that governments try to build on the economic, judicial, political or military front would not save Pakistan unless we revive our ideology. Our friends within must deploy that, and our allies outside the country must understand any transplanted ideology upon Pakistan which is in conflict with the ideology of our founding fathers would be rejected by this nation. There's no point trying to make Pakistan secular, will never be.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zaid Hamid. Viewers, as you saw that we tried to analyze the vision of our leader, Qaeda-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah for Pakistan, and as you heard yourself, him saying to give up the provincialism, and the only thing that he is trying to promote, he told us to promote, is Islamic socialism. Unfortunately, in Pakistan today, every otherism is being promoted, capitalism, communism, sectarianism, other than Islamic socialism. If we follow our guides, I'm sure that no setback can set this nation back. That's it for tonight. See you all next Sunday. Until then, Allah Hafiz and good night.